there's a very strong man who was going to charge a surcharge or a tariff on electricity coming into our country.
The announcement from the new president sent shockwaves through the American industrial and political landscape, marking a dramatic departure from traditional approaches to trade and manufacturing policy. The president made it unequivocally clear that he would use the full weight of governmental power to influence corporate decisions, particularly when it came to relocating manufacturing operations. His threat to impose a 200% tariff on Ford products if the company proceeded with plans to move part of its manufacturing operations to Mexico underscored an uncompromising stance on preserving domestic production and protecting American jobs. The implications of this declaration stretch far beyond a single company or industry. They reverberate throughout the entire fabric of U.S. economic policy and international trade dynamics. Before we start, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more updates. The president's statement was emblematic of a broader ideological shift that prioritizes national self-reliance and domestic job preservation above long-standing principles of free market economics. It was not merely a reaction to a corporate decision, it was a signal that the administration intended to reshape the global economic order to better reflect its vision of American prosperity. By linking tariff policy directly to corporate strategy, the president positioned the federal government as an active arbiter in the choices made by private enterprises, a role that many critics argue could undermine the independence of business decision-making. The approach invites intense scrutiny as it challenges established norms where companies traditionally operate under market pressures and global competitive forces, not governmental ultimatums. The proposed tariff, a staggering 200% rate, is unprecedented in modern American history. Its size is intended to serve as a powerful deterrent, not just for Ford, but for any major corporation contemplating a shift of manufacturing out of American soil. This measure would dramatically raise the cost of imported components or finished vehicles that originate from production facilities outside the United States, thereby reshaping the cost-benefit analysis that companies use when deciding where to locate their operations. The threat is designed to tip the scales decisively in favor of maintaining manufacturing domestically, even if doing so involves higher immediate production costs or reduced efficiencies compared to operations in lower-cost foreign environments. At its core, the threat was also a bold assertion of nationalistic policy, resonating with a significant portion of the domestic audience that favors a robust defense of American jobs and industries. It reflects an era in which political leaders are increasingly expected to champion economic nationalism and intervene directly in the globalized economy. The president's approach, emphasizing tariffs as a tool to secure economic sovereignty, was a departure from the more liberal trade policies that had characterized previous administrations. The proposed punitive tariff was not only about protecting Ford's assembly lines, but was also a symbolic gesture that signaled a return to protectionist measures, inviting both fervent support and vehement opposition across the political spectrum. The automotive industry, long seen as a bellwether for the health of American manufacturing, found itself thrust into the center of a national debate. Ford, a cornerstone of American industry, faced a dilemma that encapsulated the broader challenges confronting U.S. manufacturers in an increasingly interconnected world. The company's plans to relocate some of its manufacturing operations to Mexico were driven by the search for cost efficiencies and competitive advantages that come from tapping into lower labor costs and streamlined supply chains. However, such decisions, while economically rational from a narrow corporate perspective, clash with the political imperative of preserving domestic employment and industrial capacity. The threat to impose a drastic tariff was a stark reminder that in the new economic landscape defined by the president's policies, corporate strategies would be inextricably linked to broader political objectives. Beyond the immediate impact on Ford, the threat carried significant implications for U.S. relations with key trading partners, particularly Mexico. The idea of penalizing a company for seeking to relocate operations to a neighboring country highlighted the tensions inherent in the region's economic integration. Mexico has long been a crucial partner in the supply chains of American manufacturers, and the president's approach risked undermining established trade relationships that have evolved over decades. This move could have set off a chain reaction of tit-for-tat measures, potentially straining diplomatic ties and complicating the intricate balance of trade agreements that underpin the economies of both nations. The rhetoric surrounding the tariff threat underscored an emerging policy paradigm in which the United States would no longer shy away from leveraging its economic power to renegotiate or even disrupt international trade relationships. In political terms, the president's threat was a clear signal to his political base that he was willing to challenge established corporate practices in favor of a more protectionist and nationalist agenda. It was an audacious maneuver designed to bolster his image as a decisive leader who would not allow foreign competition or outsourcing to erode American prosperity. This rhetoric resonated deeply with voters who had grown increasingly disillusioned with the effects of globalization, particularly in regions hit hard by deindustrialization and job losses. The president's stance provided a narrative of reclaiming lost jobs and restoring the country's industrial might, a message that is both simple and potent, appealing to the desire for economic security in an era marked by rapid change and uncertainty. The economic implications of such a policy move are profound and multifaceted. On one hand, the threat of a 200% tariff is likely to cause significant disruptions in the pricing and availability of vehicles and parts, potentially increasing costs for consumers and reducing the competitiveness of American auto manufacturers in global markets. On the other hand, the policy could incentivize companies like Ford to reevaluate their supply chain and production strategies, potentially leading to a reorientation toward more domestically focused operations. This reorientation, while aimed at preserving jobs and bolstering domestic industry, may also lead to higher production costs and challenges in maintaining the efficiency that has long characterized the competitive global automotive market. The move also raises important questions about the role of government in regulating business operations and influencing market outcomes. The president's threat to use tariff policy as a tool to influence corporate decisions represents a significant expansion of governmental intervention in the free market. Such intervention has long been a subject of heated debate among economists, business leaders, and policymakers. While some argue that protective measures can safeguard national industries and jobs in times of economic uncertainty, others contend that such policies distort market mechanisms and ultimately hinder long-term economic growth. The 200% tariff proposal is a case in point, illustrating the tension between short-term political objectives and long-term economic principles. The president's willingness to deploy such a drastic measure underscores a fundamental rethinking of the balance between national interests and the forces of global capitalism. The threat also casts a long shadow over the decision-making processes within major corporations. In an era of intensifying political scrutiny, companies must now weigh not only the economic costs and benefits of relocating manufacturing operations, but also the potential political repercussions of their decisions. The case of Ford exemplifies the precarious position in which many multinational corporations now find themselves, as they navigate an environment where political pressures can override purely economic considerations. This new reality may lead to increased caution in corporate strategy, with companies opting for more conservative approaches that prioritize political goodwill and stability over aggressive cost-cutting measures and global efficiency. The president's declaration represents a seismic moment that challenges the very foundations of modern trade and manufacturing policies in the United States. It forces a reconsideration of the traditional boundaries between corporate decision-making and governmental oversight, laying bare the ideological divisions that have come to define contemporary political discourse. The proposed tariff on Ford products, if implemented, would be a dramatic tool in a broader campaign to reshape the U.S. economy along lines that emphasize domestic production and economic nationalism. The event serves as a potent reminder that in today's interconnected world, the lines between politics and business are increasingly blurred, with each sphere exerting powerful influences over the other. The declaration stands as an unmistakable call to action, a bold assertion that economic decisions made by major corporations are not immune from the influence of national policy and public sentiment. It invites a broader conversation about the future of American manufacturing, the role of trade policy in an era of rapid globalization, and the lengths to which a government might go in its quest to secure national prosperity. This confrontation between a leading auto manufacturer and the highest office in the land encapsulates a pivotal moment in American history, one that lays the groundwork for a reimagined relationship between business, government, and the forces that drive the global economy. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Trump's threat to shut down Ford? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.